Many of you have concretely started preparing for master's application and PhD applications for fall 2026. And one big question I get at this time of the year is, should I even bother going for GRE exam anymore? Will it help me? So that is the question I want to answer in today's video. All this on the other side of the intro. Keep watching. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Nishta from Scholar Strategy, and 24 North Star. We have helped over 1500 people study in world's top universities and work with big tech companies in the US. 2025 has been a tricky year, so I'm trying to put the most genuine and authentic content here so that you can make more wiser career decisions. It does take me a lot of time and research to put this content, so if you like our efforts, then do encourage us by showing a subscribe and like on this channel. It really helps us with the algorithm. Today I want to talk about the important question whether you should go for GRE or not, and I want to talk about 4 points. Number first is, let's look at some real case studies from my own fall 2025 clients, whether GRE helped or not. Number 2 is, should you go for GRE? Number 3 is, who can safely skip it? And number 4 is my final verdict. So let's get started with the first section, which is the real cases from fall 2025 case studies. So I've already analyzed our results transparently in this older video. You can check it out. I'll share the link in the description box below. Now let's zoom in on the GRE component alone. And what I observe is 25% of my clients for fall 2025 chose to skip GRE. 5% had low scores like 303, 305, etc., where I felt that even submitting the score is not going to help us. So we chose to skip sending the scores there, and rest of them did not even appear for GRE. Now the question is, what happened to those people? What kind of results were they able to get? So this is the admits we received for them. We got admits from U Chicago MPCS, U Michigan Information Systems, NYU MIS, Dartmouth MEM, Wisconsin Madison ECE, NCSU ECE, Virginia Tech ECE, Wisconsin Madison PMP, and I think UWash Seattle. So yes, you could get pretty good results even without a GRE. But if you had a really high GRE score, like 325 plus, then those are the people who made it to actually top 20 admits. So for those people, we saw admits from Georgia Tech, Cornell, Berkeley, UT, Austin, etc. So a very high GRE score definitely helped you with very, very top programs. But in other cases, we saw that if your profile was decent enough, then you could skip GRE and still land a decent admit. So this is my observation for fall 2025, but let's talk about the full picture more in the next section. Before we proceed with that, I have already made the announcement that our private WhatsApp community for fall 2026 applicants for master's, PhD kind of programs is already live. I call it Inner Circle. This is a WhatsApp community where we conduct monthly Q&As. We have already done our first monthly call. We will do profile evaluation, university discussion, any other queries by applicants, etc., and it's going to pick momentum from now onwards. So if you're applying soon, and if you want to work a bit more closely with me without actually taking our one-on-one consulting program, then you can consider joining this private community. I will leave the link in the description box below. Check it out if this is of interest. Now let's move to the second part of this video, which is, should you take the GRE? Now I know that GRE can be pretty expensive. I mean, you have to pay 22,000 rupees just to register for the test or appear for it, and if you add to it the coaching costs, or if you're buying some mock test or some other material, then it can easily add another 10,000. So yes, taking a GRE can set you back by 35,000 rupees. So it's not cheap by any means, plus you need 2 months of preparation, so it eats away in your time as well. So I understand why people are so keen on avoiding it as much as possible. Now, of course, we saw the whole trend. It started in COVID times. Before that, GRE was sort of mandatory. But in COVID, because people were not able to take GRE, many universities made it GRE optional. They did not ask for GRE tests anymore. And even since then, some schools have retained that policy. They are still GRE optional. But every year we see that some schools which were GRE optional have now started asking for it. And the reason for it is pretty simple. So GRE is conducted by ETS, right? Which is the big testing agency, and they make a lot of money from GRE. For example, if you look at some numbers, around 6 to 7 lakh people appear for GRE every single year. By the way, 10% of these are just Indians. And $200 fee per test, that's easily a $140 million revenue for ETS from GRE test alone. Obviously, they don't want to lose that, so they keep maintaining this pressure on the universities to require GRE as a part of the evaluation. So what we see is, for example, universities like Georgia Tech, they have GRE mandatory. You need GRE test score to actually apply to Georgia Tech. But even some other schools like CMU, Duke, NCSU, they require GRE for CS applications. They may not require it for some other program. But for more popular majors, some of the universities are there which require you to submit a GRE test score. So what it means is that if I'm targeting any of those universities that do require GRE, I cannot apply to them unless I have a GRE score. So that is a big reason for you to go for GRE. It keeps your options fully open in front of you. Secondly, as we saw, like, in case of our results, etc., if you're ambitious and if you're actually targeting Ivy Leagues or top 20 kind of universities like Georgia Tech, CMU, Stanford, UT Austin, then you don't just need to appear for GRE, you need a pretty high score in there. So 325 plus, 330 plus kind of score there can actually pave your way into these top schools. So if you're targeting those schools, definitely go for GRE. Now, overall second case for appearing for GRE is, am I looking for funding? Now, many schools do consider GRE test scores when they are giving out merit scholarships or assistantships, etc. It can be part of the evaluation process, and you will lose out against a candidate who has submitted a GRE score. So I think there also having a GRE score can open up your options to some extent. Lastly, I would look at what is my academic background or profile like. If my GPA is below 8, then I highly recommend going for GRE. Why? Because when your GPA is low, admission committees worry whether you will be able to handle the academic rigor of this program or not. But if I have a decent GRE score, that can to some extent signal them that, hey, I have the aptitude to handle this, because GRE is a standard score. 320 score means something, right? They can evaluate you. Again, if you are from a tier 2, tier 3 or very low ranked college, they have never heard of it, then even if you have a 8 plus GPA, but a very unknown college, they would be skeptical of admitting you because they don't know what kind of a student you would be. But if I'm submitting a 320 plus GRE score, then it gives them comfort that yes, you have the aptitude required to be here. So GRE can definitely help in those cases. So GRE is a great equalizer if you have low GPA, if you're from a low tier college, or overall if your profile is weak on some other front. So those are some of the cases where I think GRE is a good option for you to have. But now let's look into next section, which is who can safely skip the GRE. And yes, it's not required for everybody. If you are applying very selectively and most of your schools are just test blind program, they don't care whether you submit GRE or not, then you can skip it. You can also skip it if you have a stellar profile. Like if I'm from IIT, I have a 9 plus GPA, I have some research publications as well. I don't have to care about GRE, to be honest. But yes, the only place I have to be careful is if I'm applying to those top 10, top 15 unis, I might lose out against somebody who also have all those things in the profile, but they also have a good GRE score along with it. So there I can lose out against them. Thirdly, if you're really short on time or constrained on budget, because I know it's not easy to spend 30-35K on a test, and God forbid if you don't get a good result, then you have to appear for it again, then you have to again pay the registration fee. It can be expensive affair. So I understand if you don't want to do that, then you can skip GRE, but of course you will be constrained in your school choices. So do understand that trade-off. So yes, lastly, I would say, and also don't go by just like, social media opinions. Really evaluate for yourself whether it makes sense or not. And especially if I'm targeting computer science or some popular programs, do check out the GRE requirements in my target universities much in advance, because you don't want to do that in the last minute when you're realizing that, hey, I don't even have any universities I can apply to for my profile. So you don't want to be in that situation. Let's come to the final concluding section. Well, the point is GRE is not essential or required for fall 2026, but it can be a smart strategic decision. So depending on your ambitious, what kind of universities you're targeting and what kind of a profile you have, it can help you to go for GRE in certain cases, as we have looked in this video. And I think because many people are not going to go for GRE, so even a score like 315 plus might give you advantages in some universities. Also, I feel that GRE test is now much shorter, right? So it's not as cumbersome or really a torture to take it anymore. So if you can go for it, if you have the time and money to do so, then definitely go for it. That is what I would advise. Lastly, I think it's a low risk, high reward kind of a opportunity, right? I mean, worst case, you don't get a great score, so you don't submit it, right? But if you get a very good score, it can add so much to your profile. So that is how I would look at this. So this was my short and sweet advice. I hope it will help you save some money and headache. And if it does that, then please don't forget to hit the like button. And lastly, if you're still confused, then do drop your brief of your profile and your target university in the comment section, and I will check and I will tell you whether I think you will benefit from GRE or not. Also, do you want us to do a video on fall 2026 GRE waiver list? If yes, then please comment below. Also, if you want a resource list of how to prepare for GRE, the shorter format, then again drop a comment and we can suggest some resources. So yes, looking forward to hear back from you guys in the comment section. Thank you for all your support as always. I hope the preparation is going well. I will see you guys next week with another fresh new video. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.